is 5 families of the coonocracy, or the black bourgeoisie. Number 1, you have your media coons. The media coons are black people who own radio, newspaper, magazine, TV, podcasts, who do not discuss the critical issues in our community. They don't talk about the food deserts we live in. They don't talk about the fact that although 65% of Cleveland's public school students are black, 67% of Cleveland's teachers are white. Why in a predominantly black school district are most of your teachers not black? They won't talk about that, but they will talk about who won the NBA finals. They will talk about who hit the lottery. They will talk about who got shot at the mini market last night, but they will not talk about the critical systemic issues that affect black people in Cleveland that were introduced from the power structure. They will blame the victim and never blame the perpetrator. So you have your media Negroes, then you have your higher education bourgeoisie. These are black people who work for the school system, the university system, the community college system. And when they're asked why black people are in the condition that we are in, they will blame single mothers, poverty, rap music, sagging pants, and Instagram. Although those are contributing factors, they are not causes. The reason black people exist in poverty in Cleveland and everywhere else is because the Federal Housing Authority created a situation where they helped poor white people escape to the suburbs 40, 50 years ago on low interest loans and handouts, and they trapped black people in the ghetto and then stripped the inner city of the resources that they were given to poor people with the same income out in the suburbs. So everything that happens to us is introduced from the outside. We are at fault because we don't do anything about it. We are at fault because we don't organize and resist. We are at fault because we don't push back. The third family of the black bourgeoisie is your elected officials. Not all, but most of them. Negroes who are in positions of influence and power, but are paid to do nothing to assist black people. That's number 3, I think it was. So you got your media Negroes, your higher ed Negroes, your elected black bourgeoisie, then you have your entrepreneurial bourgeoisie. These are black people who have made a decent living for themselves, come from the ghetto, and after they escape to the suburbs with a nice house and a nice car and probably a snow bunny, they turn their backs on the back of other blacks. And the last of the 5 families, Baba, is the religious bourgeoisie. And I would argue that the religious bourgeoisie is the most dangerous because they have the most control over the way black people think. Basically, what they do is they evangelize oppression and they evangelize dysfunction and they evangelize white supremacy that makes black people think we're in the condition we're in because Jesus put us in that condition, or Muhammad or God put us in that condition. In other words, they never point the finger at systemic inequity, systemic injustice, or systemic racism. They come up with fancy religious excuses that rock black people to sleep instead of waking them up to organize against oppression. If you really are trying to lead your people away from the devil, why are you so comfortable with your people living in hell?
So if that's the case and the suppression is distraction, then what's our counter move?
The counter move is mass organization. Everything begins with organization. As the right, excellent, honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, the greatest black leader of the 20th century and the greatest humanizer of all time, and the only major leader we had after Frederick Douglass to give us a movement that wasn't tied to a religion. Marcus Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X said, it's not that white folks are more intelligent or Asian or Arabs or East Indians are more intelligent. They simply out-organize us. Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael said, if you organize a little, you get a little done. If you organize some, you get some done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get anything done. Black people